Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to focus on using apostrophes correctly, especially when it comes to's and as. Apostrophes can seem small, but they play a big role in showing ownership in English. Have you ever wondered why we say the boys' book or the boys' books? Well, this lesson is for you. Today, I'll guide you step by step through how to use is and s. Take your time and feel free to pause the video after each question to think about your answer before I explain it. Part 1, Explanation of apostrophes is and s. Read the first box out loud. Let's start with the basics. Apostrophes show that something belongs to someone or something. For example, in the boys' book, the apostrophe tells us that the book belongs to the boy. Without it, it might just look like the boys' book, which could be confusing. The apostrophe clarifies that it's the boy's possession. Let's go over the difference between s and s. Addings shows possession for one person or one thing, but s is used when something belongs to more than one person or thing. For example, the boys' book means one boy, while the boys' books means books that belong to multiple boys. Okay, so remember, s for one person or thing and s for more than one. Let's move on to practice questions. Part 2, Speaking section. Now, let's try a common question. Why is the apostrophe sometimes before the s and sometimes after it? Read the speaking question aloud. Why is the apostrophe placed before the s in the first sentence and after s in the second? To answer this, let's go over a few examples. I'll read each question aloud. Think about it before we discuss the answer. Speaking questions. 1. What is your father's date of birth? Pause. In this question, we're asking about one person, your father. Since it's about one individual, we use apostrophe s after father, so we say father's date of birth. 2. What is the date of birth of your father? Pause. This is just another way of asking the same question, so the apostrophe placement doesn't change. We still write it as father's. 3. What are your grandparents' first names? Here, we're talking about more than one person, your grandparents. Since this is plural, the apostrophe comes after s to show that it's about multiple people. The correct form is grandparents' first names. Pause. Part 3, Writing section. Let's move on to the writing section and practice placing apostrophes. This will help you get comfortable using apostrophes and s's. I'll read each sentence and you think about where the apostrophe should go. Pause before each sentence for students to think. 1. My cousin's name is Sue Wei. Pause. The correct answer is my cousin's name is Sue Wei. Since we're talking about one cousin, we add s after cousin. 2. My grandmother's name is Aisha. Pause. This is also talking about one person, grandmother, so we write it as grandmother's name. 3. When I was young, I lived near my grandparents' house. Pause. Here, we're talking about more than one grandparent, so we put the apostrophe after S, making it grandparent's house. The twins' hair is not the same color as their father's hair. Pause. The cor- The correct answer is the twins' hair and their father's hair. Twins is plural, so we put the apostrophe after the S. Father is singular, so we write it as fathers. 5. My father's brothers live in Jakarta. Pause. We're talking about the brothers of one father. The correct form is father's brothers. 6. I enjoy learning about other people's family histories. Pause. The correct answer is other people's family histories. Here, people acts like a singular group, so we adds to show possession. Pause. Part 4, Language Tip. Now, let's look at a useful tip to remember. This is called the 3-point plan, which can make it easy to use apostrophes. Step 1. Find the owner. Figure out who or what owns the thing being discussed. Step 2. Add an apostrophe. Step 3. Add ands if it's not already there. For plural nouns that end in s, like parents, just add the apostrophe after the s. Let's practice. If I wanted to write my brother's car, I would follow these steps. 1. Find the owner, which is my brother. 2. Add an apostrophe, so it becomes brother. 3. Add ands to make it brother's car. And if I wanted to write Mr. Jones's car, here's what I'd do. 1. Find the owner, Mr. Jones. 2. Add an apostrophe, making it Jones. 3. Since it already ends in S, we don't add another's. The correct form is Mr. Jones's car. And that's our lesson on apostrophes. Remember, they're small but powerful tools. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you found this lesson helpful. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next time. Hello again, students. Let's continue our lesson on apostrophes and vocabulary by tackling a few more exercises. These will help solidify our understanding of possessive forms, essential vocabulary, and logical thinking. Exercise 4. Solving logic puzzles. First, let's test our logical thinking skills with some fun puzzles. We have 3 questions here that require careful thought and a bit of cleverness. Let's dive in. 1. The first puzzle reads, Mary's mother has 4 children. The first child's name is April. The second child's name is May. The third child's name is June. What is the fourth child's name? Don't let the sequence trick you. Since it's Mary's mother with 4 children, the answer must be Mary. The puzzle is designed to lead you to assume it's another month, but the answer is right in front of us. 2. In the second puzzle, we're told that David's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Compass, have 4 children. 3 of them are named North, South, and East. What is the fourth one called? If you guessed David, you're absolutely correct. Sometimes we're given extra information to throw us off track, but remember to focus on who the question is actually about. 3. Finally, we have Two sons and two fathers go to the cinema together to watch a film. They all see the same film at the same time, but they only buy 3 tickets. What is the explanation? This one requires a little more thought. The answer is that there are only 3 people: a grandfather, his son, and his grandson. In this case, the grandfather and father are the 2 fathers, and the father and grandson are the 2 sons. The key here is understanding how relationships overlap in this scenario. These puzzles are a great way to engage our minds. They also teach us to read carefully and consider all possibilities before jumping to conclusions. Exercise 5. Filling in missing verbs. Now let's move on to filling in missing verbs in some phrases. The choices we have are make, get, x2, meet, and be. Let's go through each sentence and decide which word fits best. 1. To get together with friends. Here, get means to gather socially with friends. 2. To be named after someone. The verb be works here to indicate receiving the same name as someone else, often to honor them. 3. To get on very well with. The verb get here implies having a good relationship with someone, meaning you are compatible or friendly with each other. 4. To meet up with friends. In this context, meet fits, as it means arranging to see friends at a set time and place. 5. To make new friends. Make is suitable here, as it indicates forming new friendships. Let's take a look at the phrases that mean the same thing. If you selected to get together with friends and to meet up with friends, then you got it right. Both phrases describe gathering socially with friends, even though the exact wording is different. Exercise 6. Correcting the text with apostrophes. Our final exercise involves editing a passage for the correct use of apostrophes. Here's the passage. My friend's name is Rosa. She has dual nationality because her parents' nationalities are different. Her mother's name is Sonia and she comes from Paris. Her father's name is Rolf and he comes from Stockholm. Rosa has invited me to go to Sweden with her next summer. We are going to stay at her grandparents' house in Karlstad. We can also visit her cousins in the north of Sweden. Her cousins' names are Astrid and Ella. I hope they speak English. Let's go sentence by sentence and place the apostrophes where necessary. 1. My friend's name is Rosa. Friends requires an apostrophe because we're referring to something belonging to the friend. 2. She has dual nationality because her parents' nationalities are different. Since it's both parents, we use an S to show plural possession. 3. Her mother's name is Sonia and she comes from Paris. Mother's needs an apostrophe for singular possession, as we're talking about one mother's name. 4. Her father's name is Rolf, and he comes from Stockholm. The same rule applies here with fathers for possession. 5. Rosa has invited me to go to Sweden with her next summer. We are going to stay at her grandparents' house in Karlstad. Since it's both grandparents, the apostrophe goes after the S6. We can also visit her cousins in the north of Sweden. Her cousins' names are Astrid and Ella. For cousins, we add an apostrophe after the S to show plural possession, as it refers to both cousins. And there we have it. The passage is now correctly punctuated with apostrophes to show ownership. Thanks for following along. Each of these activities reinforces the rules we've discussed, providing valuable practice with language rules, logical thinking, and essential vocabulary.